The Republic of Ghana is a country where warmth and wealth converge. The West African nation is renowned for its rich cocoa, huge glittering gold reserves, and rich cultures that have long fascinated the world. Let's delve into some of the interesting things in the economic, political, and cultural landscape of Ghana, a country some call the gateway to Africa. Ghana has a landmass of 239,567 square kilometers. The country lies adjacent to the Gulf of Guinea and the Atlantic Ocean to the south. Its neighbors are Côte d'Ivoire to the west, Burkina Faso to the north, and Togo to the east. With a population of about 35 million, the nation is the second most populous in West Africa after Nigeria, which has more than 200 million people. Accra is the capital of Ghana, largest city in the country and the commercial hub. The country's biggest port, the Tema Port, is located about 25 kilometers from the city. Ghana was formerly called the Gold Coast. It was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence in 1957. One of Africa's most prominent anti-colonial heroes, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, successfully led the country's struggle for independence, becoming its first president. Following independence, the country was renamed Ghana, which means warrior king in Soninke language. Soninke is currently spoken by around 2 million people. The currency was also changed from British West African pound to Ghanaian cedi. Like many African countries, Ghana has experienced coups d'etats in its political history. The last in 1981, when Jerry Rawlings seized power from Hila Liman. However, Ghana is now respected for being one of the most stable democracies in Africa. The country has successfully maintained peaceful elections and transfers of power between the two main political parties over the past 3 decades. These are the National Democratic Congress (NDC) and the New Patriotic Party (NPP), which is the current governing party. Ghana introduced multi-party democracy in following the adoption of its 1992 constitution during the leadership of Jerry Rawlings. Now, there are 12 registered political parties. Ghana has a presidential system of government. The president is elected for a 4-year term. A president can only serve a maximum of 2 terms, whether successive or separated. Its unicameral legislature consists of 275 elected members. Current President Nana Akufo-Addo is due to step down in January 2025 after serving his constitutionally allowed 2 terms. He came to power in 2017 after defeating then-sitting President John Mahama in an election. Akufo-Addo had promised to turn around Ghana's economy. However, the country witnessed its worst economic crisis in 3 decades, with worsening cost of living crisis and unemployment sparked discontent. Some Ghanaians have criticized the government's economic policies, including imposing more taxes and reliance on international lenders such as the International Monetary Fund (IMF). But the government blamed the economic crisis mainly on the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic and climate change. At the height of the economic crisis in 2022, Ghana defaulted on its $30 billion sovereign debt. Ghana's economy is now struggling to recover despite a USD $3 billion loan from the IMF. The economic challenges dominated campaigns ahead of December 7, 2024 presidential elections. Former President John Mahama of the main opposition NDC has won, defeating current Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia of the ruling NPP party. Bawumia has since conceded defeat and congratulated Mahama. The incoming president has promised to tackle the country's economic problems. Ghana's major economic drivers are natural resources and agriculture. Ghana is Africa's largest gold producer and one of the top globally. It is also the second largest producer of cocoa in the world after neighboring Côte d'Ivoire. The 2 West African countries supply more than 60% of world's cocoa, a key ingredient in chocolate production. Ghana also has vibrant cultures and people. Its cherished Kente fabric is becoming an international attraction. It is a traditional textile made from hand-woven stripes of silk and cotton. The centuries-old attire is deeply rooted in Ghanaian culture, particularly among the Ashanti, Akan, and Ewe people. There are more than 50 ethnic groups across Ghana's 10 regions, each with its uniquely spectacular culture and delicacies. Ghana's national flag, which replaced British colonial flag after independence, represents Pan-Africanism and national pride. Red represents the blood of those who died in the country's struggle for independence. Gold represents the mineral wealth. Green symbolizes rich forests and agriculture. The black star stands for the lodestar of African freedom. Football is a national pastime in Ghana. The national team, known as the Black Stars, were named after the star on the flag. The Black Stars have been participating in international tournaments for decades, winning trophies but also facing setbacks. Despite its ups and downs, Ghana remains a resilient country, blending traditional values with the modern aspirations in its economic, political, and social landscape.